Well, hello everybody. Thanks for being with me, and thanks for taking the time just to stop in and listen and as I share a few thoughts with you today. And I hope 2021 is off to a flying start for you. And as we think about moving forward, one of the thoughts I had was I came across this statement the other day. It said, "The days are long, but the decades are short." And it certainly can feel that way. It felt like not only the days but the year was long in 2020, but all of a sudden we find ourselves a decade later and a decade on from where we were, and it all seems to go by so quickly. I was thinking about my grandson who's 12, and where that decade of his life, it just seemed to kind of go so quickly. And so making the most of the days as we have them is really, really important. And I was thinking about the fact that, well, a couple of scriptures that I've been pondering and just contemplating on. The first one is 2 Corinthians 10, 5 and 6, and it says this: "We use our powerful God tools for smashing warped philosophies, tearing down barriers erected against the truth of God, fitting every loose thought and emotion and impulse into the structure of life shaped by Christ. Our tools are ready at hand for clearing the ground of every obstruction and building lives of obedience into maturity." And the other one was Romans 12:2. And it says this: "Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without even thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out, readily recognize what He wants from you, and quickly respond to it. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, God brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you." And as I was thinking about these two scriptures, and they're pretty common, well-known scriptures if we've been around Christendom for any length of time, but one of the things that I realized as I was thinking about these scriptures is that change brings maturity. And if we hold too tightly onto things that and don't allow our thinking to change and be shaped by the Word of God and by what He is, by our attention on Him, then we get locked into ways that keep us immature. But God's calling us all the time to a new level of maturity, a well-formed maturity. And I read this statement. I'm going to read it. I came across this statement. I'm going to read to you. I apologize, I can't remember where the source was, but anyway, it's not original, but maybe I'll claim it. I don't know. But I just thought I'd share this with you. When people reflect on what it takes to be mentally fit, the first idea that comes to mind is usually intelligence. The smarter you are, the more complex the problems you can solve, the faster you can solve them. Intelligence is traditionally viewed as the ability to think and learn. Yet in a turbulent world, there's another set of cognitive skills that might matter more: the ability to rethink and unlearn. Mental horsepower doesn't guarantee mental dexterity. No matter how much brain power you have, if you lack the motivation to change your mind, you'll miss many occasions to think again. Research reveals that the higher you score in an IQ test, the more likely you are to fall for stereotypes because you're faster at recognizing patterns. And recent experiments suggest that the smarter you are, the more you might struggle to update your beliefs. The curse of knowledge is that it closes your mind to what you don't know. Good judgment depends on having the skill and the will to open your mind. A hallmark of wisdom is knowing when it's time to abandon some of the most cherished parts of your identity. And I just wonder, we've had to learn to be adaptive, to be flexible, to respond to external influences through this pandemic and rethink and relearn. And what this person here is saying is that is actually a sign of intelligence, the ability to rethink and unlearn old things and embrace new things. And I believe that that's what God's calling us into all the time. That changing the way we think leads to maturity. And so God is constantly challenging the way that we're thinking, and we hold fast to certain things, sometimes at our peril. And so that's the beauty of the Christian walk, I think, is that we're constantly learning. We've never arrived, that we don't have all the answers. And so my encouragement to you, and obviously to myself, as share these thoughts, is that I'm willing to allow God to shape my thinking, to bring change into my life that's going to bring the maturity that is lacking at the moment, but He wants to see come to fruition in my life. So bear that in mind as you go this week. Change leads to maturity, and He's developing a well-formed maturity in you as you change and respond to His leading. God bless you. Have a great week, and we'll see you again real soon.